Ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely fantastic to be here tonight. Welcome to SVSU Cardinal Esports. Tonight we have a great match. Overwatch, our blue team, going up against Louisville. What do we got going on? A bit of a Cardinal fight. SVSU Cardinals versus Louisville Cardinals. This one's getting personal. That is in fact completely hyperbole. It'll be a good match. I am Aquatic. I haven't been on in a while. It's fantastic to be here again. I'm joined by my fellow caster here. Wants to introduce himself?
Absolutely. I'm sort of Blue Thunder. I've been here more recently, as I've not been on the Overwatch C team this semester. Happy to be here. Ready to watch yet another exciting match from SVSU Esports. And I do believe that Louisville will be tuning into our stream tonight.
Is we do a little joint stream? Well, hello there, everyone. Louisville. It is so happy to have everybody here. Good luck, have fun, as they say. Good luck, have fun. May the best Cardinal win, perchance. Perchance. What are we expecting here? Let's run through, because I've taken a little bit of a hiatus for like a week or two. I didn't play very much over break. What's going on? I feel like you're a little bit more up to date than I am. What's going on in the lore? What's happening? What's Overwatch looking like?
I feel like Overwatch, I haven't played it a whole lot myself as of lately, but I feel like the majority of it has just been a lot of that learning phase of all the perks. Starting to learn comfortable, like, obviously you got characters like Tracer where everyone knew instantly. You pick up the 3 blinks when you do the rewind and instantly, but you're still finding those, like, it's still like the learning phase of like learning when to pick certain perks, learning that this perk's gonna be better than the other one in certain situations. Yeah, like the biggest one that's like you really need to know, like have a lot of situational awareness for, especially is like if you're playing Sigma. If you play Sigma, you need to be aware of, okay, well, my major perk that gives me levitation is probably pretty good unless I'm going against dive, in which case the lateral movement doesn't do a whole lot because the majority of them have lateral movement.
You're just gonna get rushed anyway, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like some of those things where it's like a lot of it ends up being a lot more player learning and like a lot more like mental strategy versus actual mechanical skill, which has kind of been nice because it's like now you just don't get out-comped. You can like actually like avoid being out-comped or counter-swapped.
Yeah. And I great point there with the counter swapping. For those who don't know what we're talking about, and this is the first time seeing Overwatch in a minute, they have added a new system called perks, which as the match progresses, much how you build your ultimate charge by damaging and healing, you build up your perk meter. And once you start level 1, once you get to level 2, which takes about a third of the match, you get a minor perk, and this can give you maybe a little bit more ammo, maybe makes one of your abilities a little stronger, something small. And then at level 3, about another third of the way through the match, you get a major perk, which could be a new ability, it could be a rework to how your ultimate works, or it could be reloads when you do something or another. They're decently game-changing, in all honesty. Like Tracer, can recall and get all of her blinks back, so you can effectively blink, 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 recall, blink, 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 which is pretty crazy. And it's so far been pretty solidly received from the community. As a whole, I think it freshens up the game. They're not super unbalanced. It's not like a huge game-changing thing, but it just spices it up a little bit. And because it builds like an alt, as Sword mentioned, not as much counter-swapping. It kind of disincentivizes it because when you swap your hero, you lose all of your perk gain. So if you, especially like later on in the match, if you switch to a new character, everyone's got both their perks already, and you're just kind of sitting there. You definitely can make it still work, but it's a little bit disincentivizing. It makes it that's been a bit of a problem lately, but we'll see how that plays out in this match. Starting out on Samoa, not a map I've played too terribly much. You might have to help me out.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's a lot more of a brawling map, especially this one here where it's a lot more open around the point. You have a lot of high grounds. We see Louisville starting off with Symmetra taking some early high ground carry potential here. Ramatra forcing the ice block out of SVSU's May. This is kind of like they're kind of just jumping around trying to like get see who can get the first pick here. Ramatra duking it out on point, seeing the Louisville Ramatra fall quickly over, trading for the SVSU's May. This I think can still go either way, honestly, because like we see the first support go down, but we also see SVSU's tank go down, so it's like who's really got the upper hand here is kind of still up in the air.
Either team could take it, picks back and forth. Really close fight there for just for clarification. Saginaw is currently red and Louisville is blue to clear up any confusion. But Louisville will end up taking the point, even though Saginaw got the first pick, especially onto that tank is really big. But Louisville did a great job not overextending, pressuring that tank down, and ended up winning that fight. That was a really good. It was a really good fight.
Absolutely, and that like going along with this too, like the Louisville Symmetra, really good portal usage, really knowing how like where to place the portals, really taking advantage of like just bouncing back and forth between the two, like getting a lot of usage on this first point of like being able to duck behind different covers is necessary for certain lines of sight. We see here SVSU going kind of like duking it out with the Ramatra falling over yet again behind the May wall. As Squishy's duking it out with the mirrored Sojourn. Getting a good couple picks here. We see the Sim wall coming out at the end of the fight. Will this be enough for them to hold the point?
It's close. The picks are certainly a little bit more back and forth now. Saginaw will take over the point, but the fight's still going on. I think Saginaw's tank will take the last little bit there and flip over that point. You mentioned a really interesting point about the Symmetra here. Those turrets, as you walk out of the choke point towards the objective, it's really tough to get around the Symmetra turrets. There's kind of no way to go around them without sacrificing a whole bunch of time walking. And it does look like, we'll see, Louisville's going for a teleport play, gets behind, finds the end on the back line. Saginaw's down a player. Ults are going to be popped left and right. We see the Kitsune, we see the Juno ults. Going to be not too many kills right off the bat. It slowly trickle in. Now the tanks are finding a few. I think Saginaw's barely favored. No, but they're popping both Ramatra ults to try to keep the fight going. Their trade there, I think Mega will go down as Cloudy helps out finish the last kill. What a fight there. What a fight.
Absolutely, and honestly, I think this comes out a lot more in SVSU's favor. That early pick onto Lindsay meant that the Nano was not used there, but it means that SVSU still has the Nano for this upcoming fight here, making it for a bit of an easier retake, considering the Louisville popped every ult that they had, which to their availability, meaning that they're kind of just need to wait here and try to get that Juno ult so they have some kind of defensive ability to sit behind to make sure SVSU does not capture this point.
You can see in that bottom left, the little 2. It looks like most, if not all of these players have their minor perk, that first one that they get. So it might start shaking things up. Might see a few new things happening. We'll see if you're an Overwatch veteran, you'll maybe able to spot what all of them are using. The Mayo gets canceled. Eek will go down before the Blizzard can get thrown. That's going to be a huge problem for Saginaw. That's an ult just down the drain. Cloudy finds a few. Although they're firing back, Saginaw does get a kill here or there, but the Sojourn is just ripping apart Saginaw. Finds 3 kills now. The rest of SV's players are going to have to get out. Really well done from Louisville.
Absolutely. Louisville had a very good hold here. Only really need to pop overclock there to really secure this. Oh!
The point does get touched. Oh, everything's going down. Squishy finds 2 with the ultimate. The Nano, was that Nano?
Yeah, that Nano overclock.
Sojourn. And Nano overclock is going to put in so much work, take so much space. The overtime retake, that's going to do it.
That's absolutely huge. SVSU got a really good lucky with that first couple picks. They're getting a really early one off on that Juno, which I think canceled the orbital. I saw
the orbital go down, but it was along this path, and the fight was not there. So it was transitioned, and it didn't end up getting much use at all, just because Saginaw went around it.
Yeah, that's absolutely massive for SVSU, being able to find hold the area that just wasn't useful for them to have that orbital. We see the May get forced into ice block as the Sim wall comes out.
It's gonna be called out and go down early. Oh, that's not fantastic for Saginaw, but they're keeping the push nice and slow. They're gonna try to use ults. Down goes another one, though. Diana's all the way in the backline trying to keep things alive. Mega's in the backline, ripping them apart. No, it's about, I believe it's a 3v3 at this point.
It's a 3v3.
Down goes Mega.
Ooh, this might be a
there's the Ramatra ult.
Yeah, the Ramatra with the Ramatra ult definitely gonna be able to hold this point. We see Juno here trying to contest, hold off the Ramatra from capping the point. As we see Louisville's Ramatra through the frames.
It's a little bit hard. I don't know if the frame drops are just on our end or not. Hopefully you guys get to see the match going on well.
Yeah, we do see Louisville taking in the overtime as it is just SVSU Ramatra trying to hold on for dear life. There's too much staggering though, and this first first point does go to Louisville.
But hey, you can't ask for a much better start. 99-99 overtime, alt exchange. Okay, stream is now down. Okay.
They are
Are we
trying.
back? Are we back? All right. Maybe everyone got kicked out. Maybe everyone is gonna be jumping back in. We had a little funky.
Yeah. The Discord, the streaming service has dwindled down in the past couple of weeks.
Oh, maybe it's going fine for the spectators and we look like schizos. That would be the best option.
That'd
That'd
yeah,
be the best
that,
outcome.
that'd be very funny.
That's the best outcome. Really interesting seeing the team comps. Both teams have the Ram. Both teams have the Juno. Both teams have the Mei. If I think.
No, it's Sojourn. It's
Sojourn. Yeah.
yeah.
Both teams have the Sojourn. You just kind of the perks. This is the first time they're out, so some of them are just going to be stronger, and the Overwatch dev team is going to be balancing them as things progress. But it looks like these teams have found some of the best picks. It's a little choppy.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if it's choppy for. Is it internet? Okay, fantastic. If it's just on our end and the spectators, you know, the people watching at home can see it, we're fine. Oh, this is what they're seeing too?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna try as Overwatch, not veterans, but played at least enough of this game to try to translate what's going on. Okay.
Oh, that fixed a little bit.
The graphics are now great. Hey, you know what? Honestly, it's going fine now.
We're picking up. We're picking up steam.
We're picking up steam. This is fine.
Especially like this is kind of useful because realistically here we're seeing a pretty much a mirror matchup here, with the only difference being Louisville having the Kiriko versus the Ana Nano on SVSU.
That'll make SVSU a little bit better on the defense. They can kind of hold the point better, but Louisville's gonna be a little bit better on the offense. So we'll see how it trades down. Mega's going to get in there and do as much damage as possible. Will get very low. Probably will stay up just barely will get taken down. We see Cloudy in the kill feed again. Oh, and El Magnum as well. Cleaning up the rest of Saginaw a push there. Getting up to about 50%. They won two team fights.
Two team fights. They have the ult advantage. Typically, like looking at it just off the pure percentage wise. As soon as an altercation starts, they're probably going to pull off an ultimate within the first couple of seconds. Meaning SVSU's got to really hit them hard and hit them fast. They really can't afford to just kind of sit around and poke. They really just need to try as fast as they can to get an early pick here.
We're going to see if they can do that. Timer's ticking up. They're getting on point. They're going to pop Ram ult in a second here. Will get low, but Mega's going to stay alive. Mega finds a kill as well as Squishy. It's going to be 3 now. Make it 2 left alive for Louisville. The rest fall. Cloudy finds 1 on the way out. But Saginaw will get the points. They did have to invest a lot of ult. Oh, no, just the one.
Just the one.
I'm silly. So leave both Ram ults. And the rest of the teams, the rest of the ults on both sides are still going to be up. We're going to see some overclocks. We'll see the shield. Maybe a nano on the tank.
Yeah, I definitely feel like SVSU here has to require, as soon as the Kitsune comes out, they have to secure that nano. Because there's only so much that a Simwell can do, especially during Kitsune where they have the speed rush. Speaking of the Simwell, we see SVSU Simwell go out here, try to break off the team from each other so the healers can't get in there.
Mega is in the backline though. That was such a smart play. What Louisville tried to do, they tried to cut off the tank with the ult. They put up a shield between Mega, SVSU's Ramatra there, and the rest of the team so he couldn't be healed. But he got nanoed and then managed to stay alive in the backline as Louisville pushed forward. Like the tank in the front line pushed, but Mega was just able to sustain himself there with the Ana ult and just rip Louisville apart.
Absolutely. We see here trying to fight off in this side hallway, getting the nano or getting the orbital overclock from Louisville Hill, trying to push through. Gets the Mega, probably gets a few more. Adds Geeks in the backline though, picking off the Kiri. You see the Sim duel.
Just 1 or 2 left alive. Down goes the rest. Saginaw will lose the point. They're gonna have to make a play to try to get on point and trigger overtime.
I don't think they can because they
Juno
came too late.
There's a Sim teleport. Maybe.
No, the Sim and the Juno were too far staggered. They couldn't. I don't think they
The
make
car
it.
wash.
The Kitsune car wash.
Symmetra's little turrets slow you down. Also, Ramatra's little vortex slows you down. And Mega almost got to point, and he would have if not for those 2 abilities. That's really funny. Yeah, this was here. This was what it was looking like. They tried to cut it in half, tried to cut the team tank off.
That wasn't Louisville's. The first
Oh, we
one.
switched
the first
to blue.
one. The first Simwell that came out originally was SVSU's. unless the symbol popped up behind them. I feel like because both symbols got popped there, I couldn't tell which got popped first. It is entirely possible that the Louisville did have that one in the back, but then right then, Saginaw Valley also came through, did the exact same thing to them. Kind of forced off the support line as both tanks rushed forward, but ours had the nano, had the ability to just punch through both support lines, and then just watch as the entire rest of Louisville fell for that singular team fight.
Well, whatever ended up happening in that fight, I'm not sure through my schizophrenia, I guess. But Louisville did take the first map there. A close game. I'm excited to see more. We'll see where it goes. That was the control point. Next, where do we go next?
It's a choice between hybrid or escort, I believe.
Okay. I mean, I think was a losing team gets to pick.
Losing team picks, and then
picks. And there's some bans that take place.
Winner bans, loser picks.
But hybrid, that means there's a chance for a good old reliable Kings Row. I always hope we get the Kings Row. There's always the chance for the hybrid. We did say hybrid, right? Is it hybrid escort?
Hybrid escort.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. Ban Pariso. So yeah, that is hybrid.
We have the opportunity for peak map design.
If you played Overwatch, you know.
Yeah, but we also have equally the option for the least likable map, Numbani. For even after it's been reworked, it is still, in my opinion, hot garbaje.
Which is crazy, because I very enjoy that map. I very much so enjoy that map. Especially after the rework. Maybe this is because I have very fond memories playing Overwatch 1, just plopping my Orisa shield down on point and shooting away as they ran up that corridor in the middle.
So, participating in the cancer that was that map.
Maybe Kings Row.
Hopefully, I believe that is what I think that is what they end up picking. But we shall see.
We'll see. Hopefully, for anyone again a little unfamiliar, this is one that a lot of the community really thinks is well designed. Obviously, all of the maps are super beautiful, but this one also plays like a dream. It's pretty fair on both sides. There's a number of comps you can run, and it's just a good time. You get to see, this is of course based in London. You can see from Big Ben there in this beautiful near future Earth. I'm trying to quote as much. The Overwatch release rate? No, that was Valorant. Man, again, the schizophrenia.
But no, all things considered though, SVSU here, like, they are, I believe they're defending first. No, they're attacking. They are attacking. I am having a moment. I cannot see color. Anyways, wait a minute.
We're professional streamers. We're professional streamers.
Professional streamers, and that should not be taken out of context. But
we're killing it tonight, Sort of Thunder. We're killing it tonight.
We took it.
Orisa, interesting. So we do see a couple of chains ups here. First and foremost, we see the tank lineup for Louisville, who is in blue. They're defending, and this will be whenever on this type of map, control point. There wasn't attack and defend. Both teams are attacking. On this, the defenders will be blue and the attackers will be red. Saginaw is attacking. They will be red. Louisville's defending. They'll be blue. And Louisville's going for a bit more of a brawly comp with the Orisa as a tank. Orisa doesn't do like too much damage, but does a decent amount of damage, has decent crowd control, but the main thing is just does not die. Really big health pool and a number of abilities to keep her in the fight longer. And that's kind of it. She has a couple plays she can make, but she's there to stay alive. On the other hand, Saginaw's staying with what they had, which has a decent amount of speed, some brawl, some poke, a really good hybrid between a couple of comps. Mainly poke and brawl. And we're going to see how that goes. Going for a teleporter play. They're going to go up to the high ground. Really exciting start here. Oh my gosh. Is all of the damage, all the abilities being thrown out right at the start. Louisville's going to get up there with their own teleporter to rebuff this attack. Saginaw's going to have to go fall back into this building. And now they're being attacked, but
the ante was huge. That Orisa just fell over. The Fortify ran out, the ante came in. Saginaw Valley Mega just coming in here, picking up 2, almost the 3rd.
It's going to be really hard for anything to happen. You really are just looking for a stall out the timer a touch. But no, that's fantastic. Louisville responded so quickly. They used their Symmetra teleporter to teleport up to the high ground that you're seeing right now and rebuff Saginaw, who's also teleporting the same spot. Saginaw had to come down into a building, but then their Anna, who is in what Saginaw has instead of a Juno, hit an anti-nade on the tank, so Louisville's tank couldn't be healed, and then Saginaw can push in, take out the tank, and fight from there. It was a really awesome fight from both teams. They played that fantastic.
Absolutely. We do see Louisville kind of responding though to that Sim TP. The Sim TP going in there, trying to see if they can get some kind of behind the scenes flank while the Ramatra pushes up forward, forcing Louisville to kind of fall back from like the big standard chokehold that's here on second point Kings Row of the bridge. We see Louisville's Symmetra change off into Reaper at this point, trying to get some early like flanks here as we see the horse getting chipped down by the Sim turrets.
Looking for as much brawl as possible. Also a little bit of the flank. The Reaper in the back line is going to take out a couple of kills. And Cloudy finds 2 with the little grenade, the shock grenade.
Finds 2. It is just now Mega who pops Annihilate. It just fallen. It just, like, without any form of support, just kind of fell over afterward. This is a pretty big opportunity because while SVSU did capture first point Kings Row pretty early, that really pushes SVSU back like a good solid chunk. That loses a lot of tank offensive pressure. They lost there is no more forward momentum from SVSU. They kind of have to try to find some quick pick here. We see the Sim TP up the high ground trying to get some backside flanking. That doesn't really pan out as well as SVSU would think. We see the horse.
There's the play. Literally all of the ults getting popped at once. All the support ults keeping people alive for a little bit, but the damage from the tank ult and the DPS finally start chunking through as Saginaw goes down too.
We see Geek picking off the Horissa though, meaning this is kind of just a DPS duel right here.
It's doable.
The health pack was huge.
The 1v1, there's a Reaper there, but also the Juno left.
This is just
fight. All the orb. You saw the soul orb, soul reaving. For those the Overwatch OGs out here, one of the perks that Reaper can get is he gets his old passive, where when he finds an elimination, the opponent drops an orb that he can pick up for healing. Old timey, and also for those old timey, we might see a specific Orisa perk, which I mentioned a little bit about earlier. We can hear.
There's audio?
We heard some audio.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we're not.
But we do see here that Louisville does drop in with this Reaper. Looked like he was trying to go for just a fall down ult play, but then he thought better of it.
That might still happen. Reaper does have the Beyblade. It's gonna go in there and does it find one? No! It's insane!
It does find one, but it costs him his life. As the
Zarya bubble.
Yeah, Zarya bubble. I thought for some reason there was an orbital strike, and I was very confused because no one had orbital.
No, that was used for Louisville.
Oh, it was Louisville's orbital.
There's a lot going on.
There
was a lot going on. Reaper went behind for a flank and tried to use the ult. It's just a little bit of cleanup now, I think. Yeah, just a little bit of cleanup.
Fights. SVSU couldn't get any further forward momentum off of that, unfortunately. Just the ongoing down made it too hard for Mega here to really push up. We see Mega here coming up with the Graviton Surge, trying to see a spot for it.
You don't want to get that eaten. There's the one ability that can eat it though.
Yeah, but there's the Curie too. The
overclock. Huge. It's gonna be so much the gravity, the overclock. Everyone's being pulled apart, but the Orisa all trying to keep it alive. Gets a little bit of damage, but Orisa will fall. There's just the Reaper in the back line.
Picked up by the Ananade. They're kind of forcing the Reaper to fall back a little bit. Probably getting rid of. Oh, there's the Wraith. So yeah, it is really the Reaper's just by himself. But the nice thing about Reaper though is you can kind of be by yourself anyways in the back line. This now kind of forces SVSU to really have to kind of split attention, because if they're not careful, the Reaper can just get back there and just pop a support real quick.
And we'll see if that Reaper can get back to the fight. His cart is almost there. There's the overclock. Everything's being used. The Kitsune Rush is just going to be a massive brawl as people use abilities. Can people hit their targets? Mega finds 2. Band finds another. There's only a few left for Louisville as they start going down. Just the Reaper left won't be able to do too much. Yeah. Cart will get pushed to third point here with just a little under a minute.
SVSU going from 4 minutes and 30 seconds to a minute left on the clock, just from 1 point alone, is very big here for Louisville, meaning that there's a lot of time that they have to really worry about defending third here.
Yeah, very good point. they're only going to have a little bit more than 2 minutes to push the rest of this.
Absolutely, but honestly, the Zarya's been getting a lot of good value.
The damage.
The Zarya's been consistently above like 75, 70 charge, getting a lot of really good just beam damage out of this. Like, at what point do you sacrifice the perks to realize that the perks are not being useful? As we see this come out as the Ramatra switches to a Reinhardt from Louisville. But it doesn't do much of anything. He just gets nuked.
There it is. There's the ult going to keep everybody in point. It's going to find a couple of kills.
And the car wash protecting the Zarya.
This tank is just single-handedly holding the spawn door as the cart gets pushed over.
And Juno cannot get out of the spawn room fast enough to protect the point, to contest the point, meaning Saginaw has 1 minute 30 left on the clock after their push, putting the current map at 0-3.
That's the power of Zarya. When you get on high charge, you got your bubbles, you got grab, you're almost a wall. It's so hard to push past that as you're taking like 100. I think it's still at like 170 plus damage a second from a full charge beam. I think at one point it was like 190 a second.
It was 190.
Something in there.
Yeah, it was really It was early Overwatch 2 where there was a big Zarya meta because the beam damage was so high, and because the usefulness of bubble. It's a self cleanse. It's an individual cleanse for any one hero that you give the bubble to. It gives you damage. It gives you like offensive pressure as the tank, meaning that you're no longer just sitting there. Meaning that they literally can't just like spam the damage at you. They have to be smart about how they like deal their damage. So like characters like Ramatra, Reaper, anything that is small pellets is just run a bad into Zarya because yes, it'll break the bubble, but it proportionally just means that the Zarya gets stronger or faster.
Difficult mind game, especially like the lower level you go, because if you break that bubble, I mean, there's no guarantee that the team's going to collectively break the bubble and kill the Zarya. And if you just break the bubble and just that and don't take out the Zarya, you've just fed her a whole bunch of charge. It's a tough game to play.
Zarya causes a lot of mechanical like mind games almost. We see the Widow getting some early damage off onto the Zarya. But going back to the spawn room to swap, as we've
seen that more and more as Overwatch has come along.
Yeah, but we do see them going back to their tried and true Symmetra, Ramatra Brawl comp here. Symmetra being good on King's Row because it really like enables you to get around the statue really easily. Because, well, yes, the statue does provide a decent amount of good cover. It also can be kind of a hard point to push past. As we see Louisville taking early control of the point here, forcing a brawl. Everyone just kind of jumping. We see
Oh man. That's so much damage. I think they're all gonna fall. It's going to be Louisville. Also, I lied. Louisville is still blue. Yeah, and they're on attack. I totally lied. It's unintentionally.
Unintentionally. Just weird, funny quirks about Overwatch that you tend to forget after a while.
Got taken very quickly. Both teams taking the first point in their first push.
Yeah. Giving you like a team zero opportunities to really just like shut down a choke point with like a May wall or something of that nature just makes it really like makes taking King's Row a lot easier in my opinion. Symmetra's one of those like everyone just thinks about it, like yeah, the Symmetra's okay, but like Symmetra's like one of the more underrated characters on King's Row. I feel.
Oh yeah, Symmetra's always had her place in this map, being able to teleport just through the choke points up to buildings. There's always been some sneaky plays that you can do.
Yeah, we see the Zarya trying to duel out with the Ramatra here, getting really just pressured down because it just ends up becoming more like a 1 versus 4 as the cart turns the corner.
Ooh, that is a lot of damage going out. Louisville's going to have to back up. The poke and prod between the brawl and the poke comps, both teams are running a little bit of close and medium and slight like mid to long range. They can play at a couple ranges. That versatility is something you wouldn't see in most Overwatch 1 comps. It's more of an Overwatch 2 comp kind of thing. The teleport up to the high ground, Kitsune is going to be popped, although the character's going to go down
to the backside, trying to get some like flank pressure here. Watching the Zarya fall into the sleep. Oh, but the Symmetra's at full beam.
Oh, that's going to be so much damage. Louisville finds a few. Down goes their tank. The ult goes up. I don't know if it's going to be able to help with anything. Oh, there is still a little bit live from Saginaw.
The Sojourn there being able to exist a little bit, but Cloudy's coming around the flank trying to see if they can find the Squishy, who did get out, fortunately for SVSU, like minimizing the amount of staggering that's happening here. Is Louisville kind of takes the high ground position with the Sojourn, getting ready for this choke point to kind of just like start beaming people.
Both teams have overclock, but I don't know if you're going to be able to sustain through Ramatra's ult with the Juno ult.
Yeah, and especially in terms of Squishy's case, like the Sim TP just really kind of punishes you. This Ramatra ult comes out, we see the Zarya bubble the Juno to try to live.
It'll go down. The Sim!
Ooh.
Sim Beam will take it. It's going to be back and forth. Symmetra's finding a few, finding out on card that Zarya's going to be a whole bunch, gets the grab, it's going to go down, but it's behind the cart and it can't find too much value. Mega does find one. There's only like a handful of on both sides.
I think it's just Mega. I think it's Mega versus.
It's just Mega versus the world versus the 2 DPS. The bubble goes out at very high charge. Can you beat the beam? Not quite. And Cloudy's going to take the final kill. The 2v1 is going to go Louisville's favor, and they're going to cap the last bit of .2 there.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough for SVSU here because like a very good thing on third point Kings Row is the high ground, but like for both teams here especially, like really the only high people they can get up there are the Sojourn and the Sim TP. So it's really, and so it's like you kind of have to like balance this out a little bit of like where do you take the TPs, where do you like how do you duke out the high ground? As we see here, Cloudy picking up an early easy kill on the SVSU Symmetra, as the Zarya is trying to duke it out 1v4 on the cart, while also trying to protect the backline as they get TP'd on by the Sim. This Sim player is absolutely immaculate from Louisville, like 100%. Props to you, you're doing amazing today.
Absolutely popping.
Absolutely.
Oh, speaking of popping off, that beam just popped the Zarya's health pool. It was at like half and just immediately went away. Magnum's finding a couple kills as well. Saginaw doesn't have much. Swapping over to Ball just to try to get there in time. I don't know if anyone's can touch. Mega will get on here. Ball is pretty decent at stalling. Can have a whole bunch of health. Saginaw does have the ult.
We see the cross section. But
oh, it's the C9! C9!
Oh, they got too far. They tried to push too far up, but there was just that enough of remainder of Louisville just sticking to the point that enabled them to get to the back cap.
You love to see it. You hate to see it. That's how. Oh, just a bit of a DC. Probably take a little bit of a pause here.
Yeah.
So, is it? Maybe they did just do the reset. We had some silly campus Overwatch things. Well, we can go over a little bit of what happened in that match there. First off, as Sword mentioned, the DPS especially on Louisville are going absolutely insane. Finding a whole bunch of value. The swaps back and forth have been really good from both teams. The Zarya's been putting in work for Saginaw. The Rams from both sides are putting in a whole bunch of work, and people are staying in for a while. That's how you know the supports. It's hard to see the supports doing their job. You kind of just have to look at the kill feed and see how long it takes people to die, if that makes sense. And it's taking people a minute to die. So I know the supports are doing a fantastic job. The ults there at the end, why we said C9, that's a term for when you're like probably even like up in players and you just kind of don't get off the cart and the attackers just push it through and complete the objective while you are away from the cart and trying to defend somewhere else. We called it a C9 because there was a team by the Cloud9 team a long time ago that first happened to.
Multiple times in the same game, mind you.
Did it? I don't.
Yeah, it happened like twice the same match, and that's why it's the term C9. Because it's not like it was a one-time thing. They did it multiple times that game, and it was just like, how do you just check out that mentally after like becoming up in a team fight that you just greed so hard for the kill that you ignore the objective?
Yeah,
in an objective-based game.
This is usually Sombra's one of the culprits of doing this. Will just teleport in the back line and cap the cart. And yeah, they've lived with that as that's been the name for like 6 years.
Longer than that, I feel like.
I don't know when the clip happened.
Yeah, but would you see her
switch? Mega's going over to the
Mauga.
Who has a lot of poke damage and is very good at shredding tank. Looks like he's just going to be able to pop on there, get in the backline and tear things to shreds.
Forcing out the Suzu as the big anti-nade comes out, picking up a lot of value, but he falls over too quickly, and they only really trade the tank for DPS here, so it really kind of just like, it's kind of a tough one here, I think, for SVSU. They really have to kind of just try to regroup here, try to come back as fast as possible, for the benefit. Try to get the tank back as soon as possible. Try to see if they can somehow be a man up here in this fight. We see them trying to rush forward again with the Juno bubble. We see that Mauga forcing out the Suzu early again.
gonna do so much damage, but can't quite. The supports are keeping everybody alive. There goes the sleep. Can Magnum get out of this? It's gonna take a whole bunch of damage. It will go
Magnum
down.
did not, but they can't afford a whole lot of forward pressure here. May in the backline with the cryo, like the AoE cryo freeze perk, kind of forcing them out to take a much more split position, letting the Mauga take a lot more proactiveness in the backline. As the Sojourn kind of starts like, or not the Sojourn, the Symmetra, both of them actually are both trying to just like break down the SVSU support line.
Mao was just so good at diving into the middle of your team and cutting your backline from your front and just making it a nightmare for the tank in the front to try to get any heals. The Ramatra ult's going to try to stall, but Mao was going to be able to take it. There's the May ult as well to keep everyone off point as Mega just keeps blasting away. The timer's going to keep ticking up, so now it's just overtime. SVSU's going to have to stay on the card at all times. If they step off it for more than a couple seconds, it just ends right then and there.
Yeah.
We're gonna see, and I do have confirmation. The C9 incident was almost a decade ago. I feel so old.
As do I, believe me.
It's painful.
And another thing to note about the perk system is in overtime you are guaranteed your level 3 perk.
I was not aware of this.
I just found that out because I looked up Mauga, and Mauga has both of his perks, and there is no way that the amount of
He
time
built that
passed.
fast, yeah.
As we see Mauga here trying to take that very aggressive position.
There's the Mago. Yep,
There's
there it is.
there's the Mauga cage.
No one gets to leave this, and there's a massive shield around you. Wait,
Oh,
the teleport!
the
The
TP
TP out of that, what?
That's an interaction I have not
I
seen.
learn new things every day. As the Mauga's in the backline, Kitsune as well is going to be popped. It's going to be so hard to stay alive. Mega's still there, finding kills. Oh wait, Saginaw won that?
Pick that. Because
What
the
happened?
Kitsune was all in the backline, which was just the Ramatra and the Kiri. The entire, the rest of the offensive pressure was just not there, ready for it, and they just fell over to the combined power of Squishy and like double pumped like the support line. That was really big. This is really big for Saginaw actually. Like they don't have Kitsune, they don't have Overclock, they don't have Ramatra ult.
They missed out on so much now.
This is a guaranteed cap onto into third area, I think. Because they really can't afford to try to touch this, I don't think. If they do, they might just give up more pressure.
There's all the ults from both sides. The Juno ult's gonna make your screen look almost impossible to look at for a few seconds as all the teams get buffs. There's the ult from Squishy.
The overclock coming out.
Magnum finds it. It's back and forth. The card's going down. No, Magnum's still there, still getting touched back and forth. It's just no one quiet left alive. It just will go down.
But this was massive for SVSU. Had that first fight, had the earlier fight gone like more towards Louisville, they would not nearly have gotten up to third point.
No.
And getting up to third point, even with like 3 minutes on the clock, it's going to be kind of a harder task. Should SVSU pick them up much more like instead of like keeping Malga and then just deciding I'm gonna stick to this corner. I'm gonna peek in and out of this corner, and I'm just gonna shred the tank anytime they try to push any offensive pressure here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Honestly, I feel like May could also be a very useful pick here. Like, just having the May Mauga, because the May walls off one angle, they TP to the other angle, Mauga is just staring at them with chain guns like, ah! And then just obliterates. Like, there's a lot of ways that SVSU can play this to try to really keep Louisville at bay here. Because the longer they keep them from capping the control point, the easier it's going to be for them later.
That's a good point. Oh, and how this works, by the way, Louisville will have that 3 minutes and 27 seconds to push the cart up to where Saginaw did and technically go like 100th of a meter further.
Yeah.
And they'll win. And if they don't, they lose.
Yeah. It is incredibly hard to draw matches in Overwatch. Control, like the hybrid ones are relatively easy because you just don't, after one set through of 3-3, you just don't cap the middle point. But after that, you can still technically draw it by hitting the exact meterage, as improbable as that is.
Can you?
Yes, you can.
Well, can't you both go to the end both times? Can't you both go all the way to the end?
Yeah, but I'm saying like if
doesn't that keep going? Because you hit the same meterage if you go to the end.
No,
I
but
think
it
it stops after 2, doesn't it?
It stops after 2, but there's like there's ways to get around it to still draw after capping it. We see Louisville though try to.
It was in.
Louisville just teleporting up to the high ground, forcing a lot of offensive pressure here. As we see them kind of being able to wall, the team gets an early pick onto the Symmetra here, kind of forcing Louisville's Ramatra into a corridor with the rest of the team.
Louisville is on a timer. They only have so many. They're the ice block kill.
The ice block kill, a really before seen interaction that only happened because of perks.
It does 70 damage a second.
It does.
It's not a small amount.
I would have. Okay, consider me wrong then.
If you're a Squishy and you stand in it for the full duration, you die.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. and it slows.
Now the question becomes, does Louisville try that again? They did get a lot of decent pressure off of it. Do they think they can try it again and just avoid the May getting early pick pressure?
Good question. Louisville's going to go around more to the left side, go through the building, and see if they can pick anyone off in the back. Mega is going to be put to sleep. No, we'll just be able to survive through the anti-nade as a couple of Louisville's players go down. I don't think they'll be able to get. That's another fight off the list. They have maybe 2 more fights, 2 more very like solid, full, reliable fights, and maybe they piece together a 3rd one. We'll see. They will get out. They'll be able to teleport in, switching over to the Orisa. Oh, they'll have their perks. That's right, because it's overtime.
Yep, we see them out getting dinged to half health.
The shield!
The shield! You brought their shield!
The shield! Overwatch 1, that's one of the perks. You lose your spin, but you get your shield back from Overwatch 1 at a slightly lower health.
We see Malgo jumping in, trying to get some early pick pressure here. We do see the Antony come out, though. Playing really safe, though. Gets nanoed by the Ana into the males as well.
Mega's on such low HP. Down goes the take. I think Louisville's going to be able to take it. Everyone goes down. There's just the Ana left alive. With about a minute 20, they're going to cap the point. So they have that minute and 20 and whatever overtime they can scrape together to push to where Saginaw got to. This is, I'd say, pretty even.
This is definitely pretty even.
This is pretty even.
At a bare minimum, both teams can say after this game, we played our darndest. We played really well here. We see like a lot of early chip damage from Malga. Orisa being kind of a good counter for Malga, which is unfortunate because Malga, when he upon release, was able to crit through Fortify, but now he can't. Ooh. They're SVSU here really trying to hold this front chokehold because this chokehold's gonna be really hard.
The Malga ult is gonna completely stop them from getting through here. Oh, but not if they go for that. There's the wall.
There's a sim wall.
Gonna get walled up. There's the opening. Everyone's gonna be stuck in there, but so is the Malga. Can he find any kills? How is this gonna work out? He finds the first one. Looks like Mega's gonna go down. The slam. It's a whole bunch.
The slam into the overclock too is huge. There's gonna be a lot of early offensive pressure, but this is still kind of good for SVSU. They only popped Malga in orbital, meaning that they'll have the opportunity for Squishy to come back in with overclock and just clean up shop. If Squishy can get out, that is.
Oh, we're gonna see. It's gonna be tight. They have one solid push here. They have one solid fight. It's coming down to one fight, overtime, do or die. All the cards on the table.
Yep, we do see the sim switch over to the Reaper. Try to get some, like, having that really big raw potential. Really, like, just 2-tap a Squishy.
This could not be closer. This really could not be closer. Geek's going to go and try to find. You have to build that Blizzard. That's going to be such a key point. Can May build Blizzard in time? It looks like it's going to be close. Down goes the Suzu. Do we see the Mail? Not quite. All the kills are going in.
The kills are in. The
Louisville's
Mega
favor.
cannot afford.
It's not going to happen. There's nothing left.
Can Mega touch? Can Mega touch? This is
Mega's
going to be
going to be able to get. No, Mega gets speared.
Wait,
Mega gets speared. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Insane. Louisville Red's going to take the map.
Well,
Saginaw had the right play. Send the May in, support it, get Blizzard, because if you could throw May out down on point, everyone has to scatter or they die. And they couldn't find it. They couldn't find the May ult in time. And the Kitsune came in, and Louisville just ran over with all the buffs. That's insane. What a fight. What a fight. What a map. What a map.
Absolutely. This was an amazing match. Both teams playing exceptionally well today. I feel like we've been kind of noting Louisville a lot more, but this is like, they're away from us. We're giving them a bit more of the screen time because we've seen our players play a lot more.
We can see these guys all the time.
But like, in all honesty though, Squishy's having a lot of good plays on the Sojourn. Geek having a lot of good opportunities with the May, especially on King's Row, where it's like those walls have really big potential. Those cryo freezes were huge because
we saw 2 kills.
We saw 2 kills out of the ice block, but just like, it slows, it does damage, and it blocks line of sight. And it's a human shape. It's like a player-shaped block in the middle of a hallway. That means that you really can't shoot around it, and you kind of protects the back, protects anyone behind you, while also healing you and damaging everyone around you.
I want to see the May tank rework. Let's see it. If they can do it to Doomfist, they can do it to May. They can make May a tank.
May's so much easier to make a tank than Doomfist.
You're halfway. You're most of the way there already.
Exactly.
Oh.
This is huge. Louisville, well, this doesn't mean that SVSU in the long run is kind of in a tougher spot here, going 0-2 so far. But, like, these are all really close games. Katana, in terms of Louisville, absolutely popping off. Great sim knowledge, great sim, like, a lot of great sim utility even. You know how to call out your TPs. You know how to use your TPs effectively. You're bouncing between your on the Samoa map. We just saw them bounce back and forth between the low ground underneath that one bridge right next to the point. They just bounce back and forth, picking off getting the good line of sights, getting forcing people to have to spin around to look at you while you're still able to spin around yourself and just keep clicking the button and holding the beam, getting the damage.
And then you do the perk that heals you when you're close to your TP, and it's menace. Fantastic.
Symmetra was already assumed to be a part of the meta, even just before the perks came out, because it was a whole hazard meta, and then everyone was Symmetra's kind of got a decent amount of damage, and it's entirely punishes hazard for just jumping in. So
it has some good perks.
Well,
it has a couple of good perks.
That's after the fact. It was already without perks, Symmetra was already kind of becoming anti-meta pick that was still good for it was kind of becoming more meta-ish, if you will. And then perks came out and the sim was everyone kind of just downplayed the utility of the perks, but healing while sitting next to your teleporter is kind of massive. If you
just bounce back and forth while being healed, insane.
Exactly.
Your menace.
We are starting our push map. Some of people's least favorite, one of the more least favorite game modes of Overwatch 2, which is kind of fair.
I have a good time on it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I play brawly tanks, and this push gets pretty brawly. But it can get a little cluttered. The hallways, it's kind of a little maze.
It's cluttered, and then with the really good matches where it's back and forth constantly. You end up just resetting the game state constantly, because if you're looking at the top map just exclusively and you're not worried about the fights or whatever, you just keep resetting the game state, and it's whoever has the farthest first push wins. And it's is that really
design? There's some struggles, but while you're playing the map, I have a good time. Although Sword is absolutely correct, there's a number of people who don't vibe with this game mode. It's kind of contentious, tending towards negative, but there are some interesting things that you can do on it. As we can see, both teams are opting for a little bit divier of a comp. We see Tracer Winston on both sides, which is just classic dive. Both of these characters just jump into the back line and say, hello! And then on one target, and then you just play a 5v4 from there.
Yeah, we're looking here, in terms of support lineups, Louisville coming out with the Juno Kiri. Pretty reliable, lots of great utility options. SVSU is kind of running more towards a lot more of the standard brawl with the Brig, and then your carry support, Baptiste, Ana, characters like that. SVSU here taking some early high ground, just trying to force out some chip damage, kind of just trying to who's the first person that runs out of the line of sight here? Who runs by themselves? That we can just jump on?
Damage is going to be poking back and forth. Neither of the teams looking to commit quite yet. Saginaw going to be the ones to take the initiative. Saginaw is in red. Lindsay will find the first one. Mega finds the next. Just 5v3 from here.
Jump in the Kiri, who's forced to Suza themselves just for a little bit of sustain. Does fall over. We see the Winston here trying to go for the BAP, but the BAP hit immortality just says no, not allowed.
They just can't quite find the kill on the Winston here. It's just staying alive, getting some zaps, building some ult charge.
Yep. We do see here SVSU does win that first fight. Took a bit lengthy of a time, but that's typically how dive versus dive goes. It's relatively long because you're just jumping in back and forth. We do see though that Louisville does kind of swap off the dive and just goes back to their almost patented at this point Ramatra Sojourn brawl.
Yeah. I mean, and hey, it's so versatile. You can poke, you can brawl. No real complaints. It's a very solid option. It's kind of a do-it-all Swiss Army knife.
Yep, especially in a dive, because Ramatra punishes the Brig. The Brig tries to block the damage. Nuh-uh. Arms say no. So it's just really hard for a support lineup to kind of just singularly by themselves kind of stave off Ramatra pushing on them. We see Winston here trying to just keep people separated, but unfortunately does fall off by himself in the backline. Kind of staggering the whole of SVSU here, preventing them from keeping the robot at bay.
So that means Louisville should be able to cap, get the bot pushed further. Whoever has the bot pushed further is in a very good spot. You can kind of start to play a little bit more defensive. You don't have to get too crazy with it.
Exactly. We see the Reaper here getting a really solid damage on the Squishy. Unfortunately, not able to pick up the KO, as the Winston is able to kind of body block most of the shots. Reaper Reaper just being able to hold the majority of the team at bay here, as Mega does get a really early pick onto the Juno. Doesn't give SVSU the edge here to kind of pick up a dub. We see the Bravo coming out from SVSU as well. Squishy picking up another kill off onto that Kiriko. Does SVSU have this fight? I don't really know.
I think so. Oh, off the map. No, not off the map.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, there we go, off the
yeah,
map.
it was just
Mega's gonna get very low. Does the Reaper go down? The Reaper does go down.
And Mega somehow, Mega being kept alive is huge. SVSU support's really popping off, keeping Mega alive here.
How does the tank not fall in that situation? That's insane.
They're really, I thought Mega, because Mega was on his last legs there a couple of times. It's really massive that he was able to stay alive and make sure that SVSU really get a lot of push out of the spot.
This is not like the normal push to me. Like it really is going back and forth, and each time the team gains the bot gets pushed further in the other direction. I think this is what the push is kind of supposed to look. Oh, nope, never mind.
Yeah, we see.
And now it's getting pushed back.
Yeah, we see Squishy getting an early pick out of the Juno again, as the Reaper picks
the Reaper.
No,
what the
three.
Just three.
Just three. Because the fourth was the immortality.
Oh, the fourth was immortality. But a 3K with the Reaper all goes insane.
Absolutely.
That one play.
Yeah, but we do see here though the SVSU coming back with 3 ultimates: Rally, Back Window, and Overclock. Window Overclock, absolutely massive. Actually,
You just melt.
You melt entire teams if you're careful with it. You do have to be careful though because they are 82%. Louisville being 83% to Orbital, having Kiri, having Ramatra ult. Reaper kind of going for the flanking Tracer, but the Tracer just runs away. As they kind of end up healing, like split half and half. Mega picks 2. Louisville
there's the window.
Oh, the window there, trying to keeping really the Ramatra at bay here. They really can't afford to be super aggressive here.
Finds the last ones. Did invest a number of those ults, but you still have the overclock. We'll see if that's enough.
We have overclock code. It's against the Kitsune, really. We see the Juno swapped off to pick up the Mercy here. Just single pocket, really good. Stops you just pocket the Kiri, the Winston no longer does damage to you. Which I think is personally kind of unfortunate that Mercy can out-heal Winston damage, but that's probably for the betterment of the game. I say this as a monkey player.
Winston is a fun character to play.
Absolutely. We see Band on main getting an early pick on the Mercy.
Ooh.
Trading for Mega, but the Pulse Bomb getting the Sojourn's really huge here.
It's probably looking Saginaw favored, but I believe
No,
you say that the tank's still up.
Here. The Reaper's here, the tank's still there. I don't think SVSU can really afford to push this. They can really just kind of brawl on the point, but that's kind of it. We see Tracer coming back after the Suzu gets used.
Oh, so much damage.
Oh, yeah, I don't think
was
SVSU had enough in the tank for this, unfortunately, and they're having to be forced out here.
Although it is doable. It keeps being pushed on that side. It's the back and forth here. One team just has to get a second win in a row.
Exactly. As soon as the second win in a row happens, it's going to be game over. Or if it's in SVSU's case, they're going to have the lead, and that pushes
get back in the game.
Yeah. SVSU really needs to win a lot of consecutive fights here, which I feel is kind of hard to do here. We see the Winston jumping into the backline, getting that early primal, trying to boot the Kiri off, but the Kiri has Swift Step. We see the primal coming back to get the Sojourn and the Reaper. There just wasn't enough target focus, I think, and the Primal just wasn't able to get a whole lot of health because, the Reaper and the Soldier were just pushing the backline at bay. Mega kind of, almost, I don't want to say it like this, but, having the first, major fumble, I feel like, is just, he didn't have enough team cohesion there. We see the Reaper kind of picking off to the backside, trying to see if he can get another flank 3K with the Reaper ultimate.
And it's a really rough spot. Now, Louisville has 5 ults. Saginaw does have 3 and is almost to 4. But this is just going to be a really tough call. They're kind of on the back foot. The momentum's not exactly going their way. If they can find a kill, that's not quite. Mega goes down. That's not great.
We see the
rally trying to keep everybody up. There's the window as well. The Ramatra ult, though, just running around the window. There's the ult. Gonna clean it up, and that'll probably be the last push there.
Yeah, it is just Mega, and he's forced to go hamster to try and contest, but he doesn't come up. He does come up fast enough, but against the Reaper, he cannot sustain long enough.
You are a ball. Your shotguns spread out in a circle.
Absolutely. This is the third map for Louisville Red. Louisville Red taking the game tonight. Honestly, everyone here was majorly goated. I feel like everyone just played super spectacularly. There wasn't any you just look at a game and you'd be like, that was probably not a great play. There was really maybe all of one of them, and it was just into a singular map, and it was this one right at the end, and it was like, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Everyone makes mistakes. It is what it is. But even still, everyone played super well tonight. Everyone had their individuality. Everyone individually had a chance to pop off. Everyone popped off. Everyone did like great things during every game. Made very crucial plays that made every fight winnable for either team. Honestly, what I'm trying to say is, great job both players. Congrats to Louisville Red tonight. Yeah. Welcome to welcome and have a great time.
Couldn't have said it more. That'll be all that we got for you guys for a little bit until Monday, till we come back Monday with Valorant. Great games both sides. GG's to Louisville. I guess that's all we got. Be safe and go Cardinals.